How we doing, everybody? Welcome back to the Sean Atwood channel. I'm Ron Swanson. We're here with the wonderful Paula M. and Lady Letitia. We're going to be joined by a few other of our wonderful panel members throughout the show, but we're back with the Royal Mess. It's Friday. Okay, you know, we've got the cervezas. It's the way it goes. And I just want to say I'm feeling good today. Today I'm feeling good. I've got a live stream after the show. It'll be up during this show, delving into some newly discovered AI generated, how can I put this, child horror content that is available on YouTube, and we're going to be exposing that and getting on with removing it from the platform. So before we do that though, Paula M, how are you? What's been going on? How's your week been?
It's been really well. Fighting the stupid colds. It's not a cold, it's a cough. And I gotta tell you this. Oh, before I forget, I have to tell you guys, go see the movie Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling. Oh my God, Ron, you would love it. It's sci-fi, but it's good. It ends really well. You know, it's nothing like that crap of Star Wars that it has really sad ending. No.
I'm sorry.
You get out feeling empowered. You love it. You laugh, you cry. It's such a great movie, and the special effects are awesome. I'm actually going to see it for the second time, and you have to see it on.
What's it called? Hail Mary.
The Hail Mary, yeah, it's Hail Mary Project. The Hail Mary Project is really, really good. Rocky the Alien looks cool. He is really, really cool. Rocky the Alien is very, very cool. And this is the kind of
all right. That looks all right. I'll give that a watch.
No, trust me, it doesn't do it justice. And you have to see it on a big screen because of the special effects.
And it's a proper movie. It's 2.5 hours long.
I didn't feel it.
PG-13. It is a PG-13, right? So, well, I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a chance.
But other than that, I have my cough that I have been able to get. And then last Sunday, last Saturday, I was at the hospital, and then I get an X-ray, and then everything is fine. And the next day, they call me. They should teach them manners, like how do they give you bad news or news. The woman goes, "Oh, we're calling from the hospital. It's a private number." I never answered them. I said it's a private number, and I answer. Goes, "Is this Paula?" Yeah. Well, we're calling from the hospital, and we found something on your left lung, and and I'm like, what? She goes, "Oh, but there's nothing to worry about. This not a mass, it's not a tumor, but definitely have it checked out." And I'm like, so you're calling me on a Sunday to tell me that I'm okay, but I should have it checked out?
Yeah, I think that could have waited, and also there's probably a better way of announcing that, to be honest, Paul, for sure. Well, look, so you're okay though, right?
I don't know. I'm getting a specialist call me, but I'm okay. I don't care. Yeah.
Shit. Well, look, we'll all be sending our positive vibes.
Keep us posted on that, Paula.
Pardon me?
Keep us posted on that.
Oh yeah, of course. But it's just, the way it was, because I would have said, everything's fine, but we just found this little thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Ron's having a freaking seizure.
You're making me dizzy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what I've done.
Ghetto Gothic says 2 hours and 40 minutes, Ron, but I didn't feel the movie that long. I swear to you guys.
Well, I'll definitely check it out. And thank you for that, Paula. Now, Lady Letitia, how are you? It's been a while. How you been keeping?
I've been doing good. It's been a minute, and I'm so glad the Raw Mess is back. I know my team is. Hopefully we're in the chat. Hello? Fanadoos, that's what we're called. Fanadoos.
All right. Well, welcome.
It's been great. Little girl's growing up.
Mm-hmm.
She's almost 6 years old, and it's just been amazing, and it's good to be back.
Yeah, it sure is. And look, we'll be cutting to our main topics in just a minute, right? But before we do that, Paula, there's breaking news with the Terrible 2, right? You were talking about Harry getting himself involved.
Oh, he's being shenanigans. Praise the Lord. Oh, by the way, happy Easter, everybody who was there. Never send a man to do a woman's job, because Dr. Sophie Chandauka was not gonna let this ginger wank. no, we're not in 15 minutes.
No,
yet.
yeah. This ginger.
This ginger, off the hook. This woman, this man tried to destroy not only her reputation, but the entire organization and the employees. And she said in her interview, we did that live here. She said in her interview when she did an ITV News or something like that, that he had tried to he called the donors behind her back and told them not to donate to her or to Sentebale and to give him the money instead. This man is absolutely disgusting. And let's not forget what happened with Archwell. Archwell still hasn't filed the 2024 nor 2025 tax returns, and the 2023 tax returns is looking pretty shady.
Yeah, that is shady. And we've been talking about this for years.
And I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off. Harry didn't found Sentebale. Harry got in trouble in 2005 when he was wearing that German uniform, and he was caught. And then the scandal at Eton, where the school admitted that they cheated in order to give him a passing grade. So what did the palace do? What they always do best. They sent him to the most remote area they could find, hoping he wouldn't get in trouble, which was Lesotho. And they had a camera crew following him around, and to rehabilitate his image, send Harry to a very poor, unfortunate image. So Harry is used to exploiting people because that's how he grew up, exploiting people to clean his image. Because that's what Buckingham Palace has been doing, wiping off this man's ass. And the thing is that they send him to Lesotho, and because they figure this is going to be a hit, Clarence House, then Prince Charles, with Dr. Sophie Chandauka, was one of the original board members, created Lesotho and put him as the head or to front it in order to give him something to do, in order to rehabilitate his image. This is back in 2006. And if you look at the documents of the founding documents of Sentebale, you will see that it's Clarence House. In fact, the address for everything up until before Harry left was in the UK at Clarence House. And then when he left the royal family, they gave him as a parting gift Sentebale along with Invictus, which he also did not found. It was the royal foundation with Prince William, Catherine, and him. They put him to front Invictus. And we've seen what he's done to now Sentebale and Invictus, because Invictus is going through a lot of trouble with finances being questioned, people quitting. Everything this man touches turns to crap.
Yeah. Do you think this is the first domino that's going to fall with a series of lawsuits, Paula?
Well, you know that he committed perjury in the courts of the United Kingdom when he said that he never contacted a reporter, or that when he found out this is Charlotte Griffith, the G-string Charlotte Griffith, who she really hooked up with Harry. I mean, can you imagine, Ron and you and I are mates, right?
Right.
I don't see you sending me texts, oh, Paul, I miss our movie night cuddles.
Oh, yeah. Nah, man. That is definitely beyond friend stuff, right? There's no way of talking yourself out of that.
Oh, sugar, you're my sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah,
but they hooked up. So he committed perjury because he sent her a friendship invite, friendship request on Facebook as Mr. Mischief, and she's calling him Mr. Mischief. Now we know what she was doing, all those trashing, disgusting articles against Princess Catherine, because she was being nothing but a nasty Karen towards Princess Catherine. How dare she?
Oh, that's interesting to know.
Yes. And so he lied to the court in the United Kingdom, Leticia. Can you imagine the gall of this guy?
The galls. How you said something about his reputation and how his father, helps him out in that area. But it's not doing them any good, is it?
Well, the thing is, though, that it's going to come out during the courts. A lot of things that they don't want to be found out, which is that Harry really didn't have anything to do with Sentebale, the creation of Sentebale, that it was actually Clarence House. And because Harry was a White House wipe-ass kid back then in 2006. I mean, at 41, he barely knows how to read, and the only thing he knows how to do is do drugs, but allegedly. And then, and now he's the independent. He was a genius back then. No, of course not. He was caught with the Eden College scandal, where the teacher sued Eden for being fired because she admitted that she did the artwork. I mean, artwork. This idiot couldn't even get a grade on art.
So, do you know the exact thing that she's suing Harry for?
Libel, defamation, and slander.
Wow.
Oh.
She said it. She said it in Dr. Sophie Chandauka. I'll share you Dr. Sophie Chandauka. I'll share you the interview she gave. I mean, she was,
that would be good to see.
Yes, it's right here. I'll send it to you, Ron, so you can showcase it. It's almost towards the end that we want to, or the middle, because this lady is pretty much telling this idiot, you're not going to walk all over me. Now, the article is very misleading, where they said that the Charities Commission found that they were both liable for things that they should have handled this better. That is wrong. The Charities Commission said that things could have been handled. I sent you the link, Ron. Things could have been handled differently, but that she didn't act wrong, that Harry did. There we go.
All right, let's take a listen. Hang on. There we go.
Thank you for talking to us. Sophie, you and I have known each other for many years, particularly working on diversity and corporate leadership, but I've never had anything to do with your work with Prince Harry. So let's just start with the origins of Sentebale. What was the point? What was the aim of setting it up?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Trevor, for having us here on behalf of the entire Sentebale organization. 540 Prince Harry and Princess thought that they were uniquely placed to respond to the needs of orphans and vulnerable children. And this was in 2006. Lesotho is a very small country that's within South Africa itself. But as you roll on to 2024, the issues in Southern Africa are actually quite different. HIV and AIDS is no longer a death sentence. And so our organization is really looking at those other elements in the ecosystem that affect the health and well-being of young people. And so at Sentebale, we're focused on health, on wealth, and on climate resilience of young people in Lesotho and Botswana.
Okay, over time, it's built to be quite a big outfit. It's a multi-million-dollar.
Harry's just heard the first part of that and went, it's about wealth. I love wealth. Oh, have me some wealth.
I think. You were on the board for 6 years, and you've been more on board more recently. Sophie, let me start with you. When you came back as chair in 2023, what did you think was going wrong?
Now, I'm going to answer this very frankly, but I just want to say normally I wouldn't want to discuss family business this way in an open forum. But here we are, and I'll do my best to be frank in my disclosure. So when I arrived in July in 2023, of course, the first thing you do is you open the annual report, you look at the board minutes to see what it is that's going on in the organization. When you look at the I did a 7-year historical review of the financials, looking at our costs, looking at our revenue, so income. It was pretty obvious to me that we had lost quite a number of corporate sponsors, we'd lost some families, and we'd lost individuals who were donating to the organization. And there was quite a significant correlation between the time the organization started to see a departure of sort of major organizations and Prince Harry's departure from the UK itself. When you look at the board minutes, though, there is no discussion about what's happening with respect to some of our most significant funders. And then when you discuss with the senior executive team and ask why there isn't a conversation about this, the answer is it's really difficult to have this conversation because the instruction was it's an uncomfortable conversation to have with Prince Harry in the room.
So the central point here is when you look at the risk register of the charity and funding, number one risk is that's Duke of Sussex.
Yes.
Is that your opinion or?
It is.
Ian, is that what you saw?
Pause this a little bit, Ron.
There's something
this is part of what Tom Bauer said in the book, that Dr. Sophie Chandauka had carried out an independent brand audit of Harry with 50 independent organizations, and they all came back and said that they would not donate any money to Sentebale or Harry as long as he was with Rachel Meghan Markle, because she was bad for his brand. So when she's talking about it, she's talking about the brand audit that she carried out, an independent brand audit, and Harry was shocked and angry about it.
This is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've always talked about the suspicious, empty office buildings circulating around Meghan and Harry's charities. And this is, to be honest, quite surprising that it's Sentebale and this lady who's got there first to the legal action, because there's allegedly millions missing from their other charity. What was the name of the other charity?
Archwell.
Thank you. Yeah.
Archwell.
That's shocking. It really is.
Yeah.
20 odd million's a lot of money, and it just seems like the whole grifter narrative. Yeah, the grifter narrative seems to be sticking quite well with these two companies.
But this is when Dr. Sophie Chandauka, this is why she's talking with so much authority when she says yes, because at this point we didn't know that she had conducted a brand audit, an independent brand audit, and that Harry had been informed about it. And Harry was really angry that he was facing in black and white the truth that his wife sucks.
Yeah. Because he's in denial, and people keep trying to tell him that there's something wrong with his girl, but he keeps, in denial.
Keep playing it.
I think he's going to be in denial for a while yet, to be perfectly honest. Well, what's Meghan's take on all this?
Well, it goes on because this literally was triggered by that scandal when Meghan Markle, they went to polo. They had a polo. She explains it. They had a polo event. Meghan was not supposed to be there. Meghan was not supposed to be there. So when Harry's team won, Dr. Sophie Chandauka, everything had been practiced that Dr. Sophie Chandauka and this other lady were going to hand out the trophy, but then Meghan decided at the last minute to go on stage. So it looked pretty crowded, and then she's bossing Dr. Sophie Chandauka around.
Bossing her. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was picked by the cameras. If you go to minute 7, let's start from minute 7. So it's not.
It was embarrassing.
It was so Harry wanted her to issue a statement to say that because everybody came after Meghan, right?
Which they should.
Yeah. So let's see what she said.
And everybody's shocked and quiet. But this is what happens when the prince is in the room and no one has the courage to speak.
Well, speaking of not having the courage to speak, another trustee, Baroness Chalker of Wallasey, served as a trustee for 20 years, described you as, I'm quoting here, almost dictatorial.
Change is hard for some people. Let me just put it that way. I think what we had here was a board that had overstayed by even Charity Commission guidance. Most of the members of the board, when I came back in July of 2023, had been on the board when I left. This is not how a properly run organization should work. You're not supposed to be on a board for past 9 years. Most of these individuals were there for 5, 10, 15, now 19 years. And so what you have is entrenchment. And there's a reason why you have term limits, because people begin to mark their own homework, and turkeys don't vote for Christmas. And so here I come talking about transformation and innovation and fresh ideas. What do you think the response might be?
What you seem to be, let's deal with the elephant in the room here. Mm-hmm. Is this characteristic, this way of doing things, do you think something to do with the fact that this was Prince Harry's charity, and the people, as you say, there are people on it who were in some way beholden to him? Is that the point you're making here?
I think there's something very important about that, because when the charity was set up, it was structured in a certain way. So he was this was a young Harry, a youthful Harry that we were seeing. And his work for Sentebale earned him the respect and admiration of nations, including this nation, and also the people of Lesotho. And that is, and that is remembered. And so it's understandable that at the beginning he would want to have some trustees around him to create some structure and guide him and all of that. But the interesting thing is that in 20 years, the development world has moved on. That structure will not attract the sort of large institutional funding which is needed to fulfill the ambition of the organization. People will be worried about where is the directing mind? Is it the board of the trust of the charity, or is it the patron? And that, from a governance perspective, is the central issue.
Sophie, let's talk about where things, as you saw it, started to go wrong. One of the incidents was the fundraising, the polo tournament, which is one of the ways in which Sentebale raised a lot of money. What happened?
We were so fortunate to have the opportunity to do a polo challenge in Miami last year in April. We had a very generous family that was happy for us to use their polo grounds at a material discount. And then about a month before the event was about to take place, Prince Harry called the team and said, I'm doing a Netflix show, and I would love to bring a camera crew so that I can include some footage in this show. And so the team called me and tell me, oh, Prince Harry's made this request, so we're doing the things. I said, you can't be doing the things without seeking consent from the property owners, the sponsors, all the guests. Nobody signed up into being on a Netflix show. And so we have this discussion about the need to talk to everybody. We come up with draft agreements. And of course, the venue owner says, this is now a commercial undertaking. So here are my terms. We couldn't afford it. So now we lost the venue. So we went to another venue, and we were lucky enough that through Prince Harry's connections, actually, and a friend of his, there was another family that was prepared to host. The show went on, but there was a lot of disruption, right? A lot of people were unhappy because we'd worked on this for months. At the actual, on the actual day, we had Prince Harry, which is always wonderful. The Duchess decided to attend, but she told us she wasn't attending. And she brought a friend, a very famous friend. So you can imagine all of the activity that goes with these additional amazing people. We're excited about it. We would have been really excited had we known ahead of time, but we didn't. And so the choreography went badly on stage because we had too many people on stage. The international press captured this, and there was a lot of talk about the Duchess and the choreography on stage and whether she should have been there and her treatment of me. Prince Harry asked me to issue some sort of a statement in support of the Duchess, and I said I wouldn't. Not because I didn't care about the Duchess, but because I knew what would happen if I did so, number one. And number two, because we cannot be an extension of the Sussex.
What would have
PR
happened
machine.
if you had simply just said, there's nothing wrong with what's happened, what the Duchess did?
Well, the Duchess has told Dr. Sophie Chandauka to make a press release about her, and then she'll get even worse trolling. That's what would have happened.
You said that Prince Harry wanted...
Like, first of all, why do people have to clean up after Harry and Meghan? Because they're both used to that. And
Paula, am I right in what I just heard there? She said nobody wants to speak out about Meghan because they can't handle the trolling. Is that basically what she just said? So the Sussex squad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because
and what comes
it would
after
have
is
been bad
worse.
for her.
And what she talks about later, it's worse because this is really what happens. You know, like they set people on you to discredit you because that's what Harry was doing behind her back. You know, discrediting, going behind her back, phoning donors to try to get her not to meet her and stuff, you know, and discrediting her and defaming her.
Damn.
And what she says there, because she says, I have documentation.
Wow. He's going down.
He is. And it took a beautiful lady of color. She's a billionaire. All her family's billionaires. They were one of the first big donors of Sentebale.
Wow.
So yeah. So keep it. So you know. So she's saying, why should I make a statement on behalf of Meghan? Because in her court, she knew that it looked badly because Meghan was rude to everybody when she went.
She was rude. She was very rude.
Now keep in mind that Harry wanted to use the Sentebale event, which is purely charitable, and brought Netflix, which is completely commercial for him. To me, one of the mistakes she made was to allow him to do that, because she should have said, no, Sentebale's event is not there. What are we getting at Sentebale? You know what I mean? Instead, she just went along with it. And then she said that he helped secure another venue. Yeah, but that problem was brought on by Harry.
Yeah, sure was.
So he's sorting out, trying to solve. So he's being thanked for solving a problem that he created.
Right. Was that what she was saying? Like he was being praised for?
Yeah, she's saying, well, thankfully Harry, through his contacts, you'll hear what she says later.
I heard what she said. She said that through his contacts that he was able to secure another
they have
venue.
to pay a lot of money to these people, something that they didn't have to do with the original venue, because the original venue was being donated as part of to Sentebale, so they didn't have to pay any money. Now they have to pay money to host, have this game there, because now it's a commercial venue for Harry, even though it's a charitable one. Here you have the blurring of the lines.
Yeah, he turned it into his show, him and the Meghan show.
Well, they were exploiting Sentebale. Literally, that's what they were doing. And Sentebale was not getting any money or anything. In fact, they were getting a lot of slack from people, because these activities do take months to plan.
The publicity goes to the PR and everything goes to Meghan.
Yep.
And I know this has nothing to do with anything, but doesn't Netflix have something to do with the Invictus Games?
Not yet, but they were doing a veteran show. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep playing, Ron. Keep playing. Ron. Where's Ron? Ron.
He went to the restroom.
Probably, yes. But it's insanity, because what we're watching here is literally Harry and Meghan exploiting. This is the worst kind of exploitation, because Harry didn't care if it was Sentebale. By that point, it's been like 4 years that he hadn't gone back to Lesotho nor checked on the charity, other than to use it on press tours and press releases in order to look good. And
like he wasn't going there. Like he went, once a year?
No, he didn't. He hadn't gone back in years.
Oh, in years. Okay.
Yeah. When he went back in 2025, he hadn't been back in 6 years. Sorry.
Wow. That is just weird that he would even be considered even a part of this charity that he doesn't go to and participate in.
Okay.
This lawsuit is really going to be interesting. I want to follow and keep up with the lawsuit, because it's going to expose a lot about these two.
Yeah. If you can play, Ron, can you play the video, Ron? Let me see if you can listen to him. I don't know. Let me see. But what do you make of this, Leticia?
What
do you make of this? Like,
I think it's really
I'm quoting you. Force the failure of the charity. Why on earth would he want a charity he founded in memory of his mother to fail? I mean, that's he would have some justification for feeling hurt at allegation.
To be honest, it's a last resort. Really, what Prince Harry wanted to do was to eject me from the organization, and this went on for months. It went on for months through bullying, harassment. I have documentation. There were board meetings where members of the executive team and external strategic advisors were sending me messages saying, should I interrupt? Should I stop this? Oh my gosh, this is so bad. In fact, our strategic advisor for fundraising, then sent me a message saying she wouldn't want to ever attend any more board meetings or bring her colleagues because of the treatment. When that failed, Prince Harry started to brief, and his team, sponsors that I'd been speaking to against me and the charity, because that is a sure way of getting me out if it's seen as though I'm not being successful in my fundraising efforts.
I obviously have to put this to both of you.
Yes.
What you're essentially saying is that the Duke of Sussex is guilty of harassment and bullying and improper conduct in the governance of a charity.
Well, let me put it to you this way. I'm going to give you a really good example. The only reason I'm here, Trevor, is because at some point on Tuesday, Prince Harry authorized the release of a damaging piece of news to the outside world without informing me, or my country directors, or my executive director. And can you imagine what that attack has done for me, on me, and the 540 individuals in the Sentebale organizations and their family? That is an example of harassment and bullying at scale. And so if the world didn't want to believe that there's such a thing as bullying, this unleashing of the Sussex machine on me and the 540 employees at Sentebale who received this and have had to defend it.
By the way, when you say the Sussex machine, what are you talking about?
The PR machine that supports Prince Harry's efforts. The only way we discovered of his decision was through the Sussex machine activating newspapers.
You were not told that he planned and the Princess planned to resign?
We were informed that they have the intention to withdraw if I went to the High Court and succeeded.
All right, well, look.
You're about to.
There have been accusations against you also.
Yes.
As I said, Baroness Chalker said that you were dictatorial.
Mm-hmm.
But on the polo match, which we've talked about, the accusation is that the financial backers were upset by your conduct, and also that you hired expensive consultants without board approval.
Well, that's just not true. Ian is witness.
Well, look, I mean, another source from who was a trustee apparently told a national newspaper that the trustees were supportive of moving fundraising towards America, but you didn't.
Well, hello, P. Dinah. How are you, gorgeous?
I'm good. How are you? Hi, everyone. Lady Leticia.
Hi.
Hi,
We're
Ron.
We're talking about that Dr. Sophie Chandauka, this is breaking news, has sued Harry for libel, defamation, and slander.
Yeah, I heard. Isn't that something?
Yep. And we're just going over it. What do you make of it, Pat?
Well, I just heard the information. I don't know much about it, but I think it's a good idea only because, you know, Harry is so used to suing other people. I think, yeah, he should be sued. See what it feels like.
Well, good point.
And she says in this that she has documentation. You know, remember we've done videos about this, Patricia, and we talked that this lady was not going to let it go because her reputation was on the line. I do have some inside information that the palace tried to stop the lawsuit for a while.
Really?
Yes, but what she was asking for was that Harry issued a public statement apologizing, and Harry refused to do so.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yes, and this is why she's gone ahead and sued Harry. He take him into court because, and I don't understand why the palace is always involved still with this jerk, because it was Prince Charles who founded Sentebale. It wasn't Harry.
Exactly. Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
and they've allowed him to take over the ownership in name like that. Like he can say he is the founder, but if you get into the real, you know, the foundation.
When we see the documents, the documentation says otherwise. The documentation says that we've seen that. We remember we've done videos, Patricia, talking and showcasing the original documents of who founded what, and that's Dr. Sophie Chandauka, who was one of the first people on the board, and her family was one of the biggest donors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think what's happening with her is it's great that it's a Black woman, I think, doing this
Oh,
because,
yeah, me too.
because I think it shows that, Harry is showing himself to be all about race all of a sudden. Well, if you're trying to be about the right way to do things and, what did he call it? What was the bias he said? Unconscious bias.
Unconscious bias. He's the one with a very conscious bias, Pat.
Exactly. Yeah. I think he is getting himself in more of a deep hole with everything. There's just so much going on in his life right now. No wonder we're hearing reports of him being depressed and overwhelmed. And, there's a lot going on for him right now. And Meghan is, for that fact, is not even making it easier for him. I think she is compounding the issues that he is having in his life, his personal life.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't care. She just cares about her own feelings and, what's going on in her world.
Right.
But, no, she's making, if he is miserable, it is because of her. He can't make her happy.
But he chose her. He chose her. And he was warned. He was warned. He was told, take your time and get to know the skank. But no. What did he do, Patricia? Can you please tell me what did he do? He ignored everybody.
He what?
What did he do? He ignored everybody.
Yeah, he ignored everybody. Everyone was trying to tell him. They were trying to let him know. Because you think about it, Harry hasn't lived really in the real world. He hasn't lived amongst women that are like Meghan, and I think his family saw that coming and he just got caught up in the moment. And now I think he is seeing how difficult things are for him in his life, trying to live for her in her country, in the state that she wants to live in. He is in a conundrum big time. And the other thing is King Charles, I'm hearing reports that he is really on the decline. They were talking about how he would be falling asleep and he's stopping his treatment while he comes to the States for 3 days. And they're doing that so that, he doesn't have any side effects from the things that from his medication or his treatment or whatever. And I just think this is, and this is why they won't meet with him. This is why Harry can't even have a meeting with the king, because of the stress. And so if you think about it, he has already lost his father because he can't really go back to assume any kind of a relationship again with him, to bring the children. He won't ever see his father again, I think, until it's too late, until his father's already passed. I think.
Would you trust being around this idiot? This is a man who he swore he wasn't going to talk about going to meet the king last year when he found out he had cancer. As soon as he left, I'm with my dad.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Like this guy, you can't trust him. He has dug his own grave, Pat, and I, for one, I want to push him and make sure he stays there. This is no Lazarus. He's not resuscitating this. This one's staying down, if you know what I mean. He's an idiot. He's a traitor. He's an idiot.
He's an idiot. And I don't think they've realized that they really messed it up for themselves. Do you think, when are they going to get a clue? Because I know Meghan is still in denial land, and Harry, he just going along with it to get along, and it's poor Harry.
What do you make, Patricia? Because I want to talk about this.
Hang on, Paula. Just give me 1 second. Welcome, P. Dinah. Sorry, I wasn't there. Thank you, Paula, for being producer. Paula's in the background going, P. Dinah's here. Turn the video off. Turn the video away. And I'm like, right. So thank you, Paula. I wanted to just say thank you, P. Dinah, for being here. Listen, can I just throw this at you, right? A part of me still feels like Harry and Meghan drew the short straw and they were going to be the fall guys for whatever this part of the royals' plan is. I think for us to assume, honestly, I really feel like there is they never really left the royals. They're being controlled by the royals, so that there's an essence of separation from the royals. I still think there's some weird, I think there's a bigger ploy going on here. And that's a big, and do you remember on day one, Paula? Do you remember on day one of the royal mess? I was like, nah, you guys are all crazy. Harry and Meghan are cool, man. They're all right. They're all right. And now I'm like, they are the pawns. They are the pound of flesh that can be cut away because they're not connected. That's how I feel. I imagine it will change within the next half an hour because that's how my brain works.
Oh, you're calling them victims, basically.
No, they're in on it. They're part of it. They are
not pawns. You're only pawns of something if you are the victim. Or you're pawns.
No. You can be a pawn on a game of chess, and you're not a victim. You are just the lower end of the table pieces. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones getting used.
You're an accomplice. You're not a pawn. I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can go with accomplice. Accomplice works too.
Do you think that they're pawns in this game? I think they're absolute. Hello, George the Giant.
How you doing?
How you doing, George? How are you, mate?
What's going on? How you doing?
Our man, Ron, is calling Harry and Meghan poor little victims.
No, I never said the word poor little victim, George. I want to be very clear. The words poor little victims. I said I feel like there's a bigger picture here where them leaving the royals they never really left. They were there to separate from the royals, to do dirty-handed business deals for the royals, where the royals couldn't get their hands dirty because they're no longer part of it, right? But if they're no longer part of it, why are we having these cosplay events around the world for billions of dollars in medical trade and all these things? And then we're off to Colombia, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And then we have the ties with the Epstien files and this long list of royal connections to princesses and marriages and yachts. George, I don't know where it ends. So, like that. My head's
what do you think? Give us your opinion, because now Harry's being sued by doctors. Oh, where is he gone?
He's back.
Now Harry's being sued by Dr. Sophie Chandauka. She's launched a lawsuit against him March 26th.
Yeah.
Do we have the lawsuit? Do we have all the details?
No, it just broke a little while ago. The thing is where it ends with them flat on their face. That's the reality. Or when you look at everything they've done, look, Harry and Meghan, they keep acting like they're this shining diamond in a goat's ass. But the reality is they keep praying for rain. What do they get? Clouds. Every project, everything they do. That's why Tom Bauer's book, when you look at betrayal, it proves something that we've been talking about a while. I think it was 4 months ago. I had done a video where I plotted it out, and I'm like, they're being funded by political entities from California, from the West Coast to the East Coast, and it comes out, well, George Soros has been paying for them. They're being used as pawns in a political game, not only to damage the monarchy, but to help move a message forward, to destabilize a way of life. And they're happy to go along with it. So they just go with the wind. It's like, what today is going to pay for the new rescue chickens? Oh, this guy's going to pay for it? Cool. We want you over here. What's going to pay for new jewelry or for the Santa Monica membership club, the $5,000 a month? Oh, this guy? Okay, we'll do it here. They don't care. And that's exactly the problem. Look at this. Pamela Anderson is going to Melbourne and Sydney. She's going to give a great talk. You listen to her interview, you hear someone who's learned from her life lessons. Yeah. You know, she started out a Playboy, boobs out, Baywatch, rock star wife, went through it all. And then what happens? She learns from it. And as she learns from it, she regroups, builds a new life, comes back, and now shares those lessons. When you read what she's going to be talking about, you're saying an intimate conversation. Nothing is curated. Meghan throws it
relatable too.
Exactly. Meghan's, Poogie retreat. I probably said it wrong. The Coogee Beach, known as Poogie Beach. Everything has been staged managed. You just had a reporter a few days ago who paid the money, got a reservation. They found out she was a reporter. She didn't hide it. She's a wellness and beauty reporter. She instantly gets kicked out. If you cannot stand the scrutiny of a camera, get out of in front of it. Pamela Anderson isn't telling anybody, hey, no cameras allowed, no reporters, no media, nobody. They unmask themselves.
Yeah, and the thing is that with Pamela Anderson, you can actually go on the website and buy the tickets. Right. You don't. Whereas with Meghan Markle, you can't buy the tickets. You have to register. Yes, you can buy tickets. That computer glitch was a BS story. You have to go, and I know you have to go. You have to register. You have to give your name, full name, phone number, address, email address, and you send it over. And then after, I guess, they review all your socials and your name and everything, they reply to you. And they reply to you for security reasons. I'm going to tell you guys that they put a watermark in the reply and the attachment, right? They put a watermark. So in the message, and it has a code. So they would, if you try to show the attachment online or whatever, it would show exactly the code and everything, and they would know who the person is who gave you that attachment, because each code is unique, right? So you're not buying it. They're literally screening everybody who's buying the tickets. Pamela Anderson, it's you just buy the ticket, and she's doing it in an intimate way. 2,500 people for 2
but
days.
Pamela Anderson's not a mental case. Like who screens like that? It takes a special kind of crazy to screen every single person that you're selling a ticket to that's coming to an event. I mean, that is next.
Yes.
I mean, that is that you've already price gapped it so that 90% of the crazies can't make it. And now you're
It gets worse. It gets worse. If you want to have your own room, they tell you to buy an entire new
tickets. Yeah.
Right in charge.
Yeah, it is. They wanted you to share a room. Even the reporter was stating, she's like, okay, I'll stay in a room, because they told you have to buy another one.
Yeah.
But think about it again. What does it say psychologically?
I know, right?
Everything is about pretense. It's about show. Why does Harry want a security back? You don't go to Colombia, Ukraine, Jamaica, Nigeria, Jordan, and have no 24-hour armed protection, but you can't go to UK. No, it's about perception. What's the security screening for? To make it look like she's bigger than she is. There was a party that I went to once when I was in Santa Monica. Brad Pitt was there. It wasn't my party. It was at a friend's bar mitzvah. There's no security. You telling me that Meghan is bigger than a Pitt? No. Or any other star. Other stars don't do this. No, Tom Cruise doesn't do this. He went into a fan events for Mission Impossible. He just walked up and started shaking hands. But Meghan Markle needs security.
Do you remember this little ditty, George, when it happened? Another celebrity event that took place a few years ago, the Fire Festival, that was meant. This was the reality. These were the luxury bungalows that people were paying thousands of dollars for, and it was. If you don't know Fire Festival, this was the greatest party that never existed.
The guy was on camera, right?
Well, it was Ja Rule and a few other dudes. Right? It was Ja Rule. So it had a lot of people backing it. There was a lot of influencers and all of this stuff. I'm telling you now, this reeks. This is going to be another Charlie and the Chocolate Factory disaster, another Barbie event disaster. I mean, I know two people who are going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interject.
That's
right. No, that what you're saying is way more interesting than what I'm saying. So please continue.
No, I was saying I know two people who are going. I thought about going. But then I was like, no, I can't do it. I don't have the time.
Well, Patricia, you remember when you went to that Meghan Markle talk in Ohio or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remember that they wouldn't let you in?
Yeah, they wouldn't tell me. Well, I couldn't get in with the ticket. I had to have like other people, like, because it was like $5,000. You had to buy like a whole seat. But I tried to buy like an individual to see if I could sit at someone else's table that maybe didn't have all the people. Yeah, and they kind of knew, I think, who I was, so I couldn't purchase anything. This was like in the earlier.
So she's got a reputation for this. Girl be screening her calls.
Oh yeah,
we're our biggest fans. She needs to go ahead and let us in.
Right. I think the bigger news that a lot of people, the media hasn't covered it a lot. That's what I notice is the whole. I mean, we've covered it. Is the whole going into doing the raunchy movies? You know, the Big Bunions After Dark. You know, the resurrection of her career.
Who the hell are you talking about, George? Who are we talking about? Meghan going in. Okay, please.
Well, they're saying now that she's willing to take on raunchy roles. Is that true?
Raunchier roles. Okay, thank you, Jesus.
Raunchy. That's what I said.
Okay,
Big Bunions After Dark and Santa Barbara. I mean, I'm telling you, we talked the last time I was here. I said the sex tape is going to be coming, but before that, she's going to do R-rated movies. And funny enough, most of the British press, again, oddly, buried that. It wasn't the lead. So I always feel the palace and other people are still protecting, because that should be front
very
page.
much so, very
That should
much
be
so.
front page news. Duchess does Dallas.
The Duchess down under, you know, it's
Just put your movies, put the movie title suggestions in the side chat, please. Ron will be keeping an eye out, because that's where his intelligence level is on this conversation. So get your titles in for Meghan's sex tape in the side chat. There will be a gold star.
I'm sure it'll be more.
If they ask you to play Meghan Markle, Patricia, how would you play Meghan Markle? If they ask you, because you're an actress.
How would I play Meghan Markle?
Yeah, I mean, pretentious is skanky. I mean, how would you play her?
I don't know.
You have to learn how to be selfish.
Well, first of all, you'd have to take your clothes and bundle them up and put them under your mattress that you're planning on wearing the next day to really get the creases and the vibe going. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's easier than that. I'd put up a 2x4 with a wig on it and a lot of bronzer.
but you know, this is interesting because Harry now he's gonna be in a lot of trouble, because I'd be very surprised if the newspapers don't win the lawsuit.
Oh, they're going to win. There's no way, especially after his flirty messages. He just,
oh my God,
come on, they hired the private investigator that they asked him to basically lie.
Barrows, yes.
Yeah, so they know that. Now you have Harry who's doing this whole, oh, wait a minute, I've built my entire image on telling the truth, and I'm rewriting the script. I didn't know her. Yeah, I think he was more afraid of what Meghan has to say.
I think he was literally in bed with the press. I mean, Pat, what I was saying to Ron, that Ron is my buddy. I don't see Ron and I sending each other, oh, I can't wait for our Thursday movie cuddles.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So of course he was in bed with her. Absolutely.
Sugar.
I tell you what, here's the thing, right? It could either be
wait, what's that?
It could either be that their friendship is blossoming into something, clearly, right? Or something has happened, but there's definitely not the friend zone conversations. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not that I'm defending Harry, but it's definitely sus. I mean, it's beyond.
Wait a minute.
You're not talking your way. I mean, George, anyway, could you imagine your wife catches that on your phone? Imagine how are you talking your way out of that? That would be a lot of.
It wasn't when they were married, by what I understand.
Okay.
It wasn't when they were married, but that's a type of malignant narcissist like Meghan is not going to take it because she thinks she's the only woman. Remember when Harry was hanging out with J-Lo at the beginning of the year? Like 8 or 9 times they were together. All of a sudden, because supposedly they were working on some nonprofit, some charity.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it got in the newspapers, then all of a sudden he stopped hanging out. Because what is the biggest threat to Meghan? You have some over the hill, has been, never was, and her husband is a prince of the blood. He starts hanging out with, Hollywood celebrities. You're not telling me she's thinking, okay, one of these people, they're going to actually pick him up and I'm going to be out here. That's the reality. And why do you think she would do an R-rated flick? I think it'll be like, the show boob, show ass, stuff like that, softcore at night.
I mean, who's going to have this woman? Who's going to have this woman? Meghan Markle is
nobody, but it's to
But-
humiliate Harry. That's a power trip. This is to humiliate Harry. This is not for her.
But you have to understand, there's a lot of movie makers that are C, D list movie makers.
Oh yeah,
that would definitely want to have Meghan because they can exploit her vulnerability because she wants to try to get her name out there. They will definitely do something with her to get some headlines, and it would not be good for her, but it would be great for them. Not A-listers, but there are a lot out there that would,
No A-lister's going to go near her. I mean, the fact that Brie Larson is in that movie that she's in the cameo. Is it Brie Larson and Quaid? And
this girl Colin something.
I mean, think about that.
Collins.
That for her, if it ever, because a lot of films, people don't realize a lot of films get greenlit. They even start production, they get canceled.
Yep.
Producers pull out budget.
What do you do? They don't make it.
Well, not everything always makes it. So it's the same way. How many movies projects did Harry and Meghan announce over the last 5 years? None of them have come to fruition.
Right.
And so this Amazon thing, I'm still like, really, is that going to happen? Let's say it does. Meghan gets her cameo role, same thing as in Suits. Then she's going to start trying to land these raunchy roles. No actor of any worth or name, right, is going to be across from her. They're going to have to go into the C and D category
to get her.
So,
but I think this guy Quaid, who was an actor in that movie, he was doing a red carpet event, and he was asked about Meghan, and he said, "Oh, it was insane," and then he just kept talking. Did you see that, Patricia? Did you guys see that?
No.
He was in a red carpet. Quaid is the son of Andy, this Quaid, famous guy, right?
Dennis
and then Dennis Quaid. And he's in the movie with Lily Collins and this Larson lady, and they did this red carpet event, and they asked, "Oh, how was it working with Meghan Markle?" And he goes, "Oh, it was insane." And then he says, "But the main characters of the movie, he just immediately."
Yeah, he blew it off. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he completely kind of sidestepped it, didn't even want to go there. But let's look at what Honesty and Truth is saying. Thank you, Honesty and Truth. She says, let's just take a moment to consider this. Harry's legal costs will be paid by King Charles III, and therefore the British taxpayer until the sovereign grant stops.
I don't think he could pay it, because I think the amount has been estimated to be anywhere from 15 million pounds would be Harry's share on up. That's not something
but then he
you
has
can
to pay the legal costs of the newspapers.
correct. That's not something. That's not a million, let's say, or half a million.
It's going to be about 40 million, 50 million pounds.
Something you can hide. And if the public finds out about that, the king's goose will be cooked. On top of it, if Meghan, because I heard y'all earlier as I was coming into the house, if Meghan does one of these raunchy roles, I will give it at most 7 days before their titles are pulled. You cannot have a duchess.
You think?
Right.
No, there's no. I think the king will do that. Look at Parliament. Look at Parliament. As lefty as it is, they have intervened to stop Ravik because they realize the public, 80% in the UK, don't want them. They don't want to have the photos of people throwing and throwing stuff. So they're the ones who are now interfering. It's not the king who's interfering in Ravik. So imagine that you have a duchess with a title, a British title, comes out and is
exactly the king,
downward dog for dollars.
The king in all of his glory would see that. The king would see that as haram, I do believe, George.
And kick him out and say,
"Look, there's no way." He's going to be like, "Good luck. Go live their life." You're going to have her become the face of the monarchy, or her bronzer, or her Brazilian. I don't know. I mean, it's just it doesn't bode well. So I think I also think it's a possibly, but this is speculation, my belief, it's a threat to Buckingham Palace. I will go do this.
Suit some button. Somebody in the comment. That's a pretty good title.
Suit some button. Yeah, that is good.
No, but I mean, what do you think this is? Do you think that Meghan and Harry are so delusional that they don't understand that the titles can be pulled from it? Because I think it was Tom Bauer, one of them authors, who said that Harry was freaking the F out that Andrew's title was pulled. And by the way, now that Harry has been sued, he's following the footsteps of his uncle Andrew, because Andrew was sued in a civil lawsuit. And now Harry's being sued in a civil lawsuit for slander, defamation, and libel.
Yeah, this isn't like I said, once you have one lawsuit, everybody else is going to start lining up, because it's kind of like firing the starting gun. They're like, you mean we can do this? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. John Daka's not going to wait.
No, but I don't think they're going to pull that. I mean, Prince William would, but I don't think Charles would.
I don't know if she ends up being naked in something. That's not possible.
If she's naked in something, George,
not possible for
100%, bro.
Parliament, I think, would actually do it, because you're going to have the British public, because they have titles. If they didn't have titles, no one would give a shit. But having the titles after what they did to Andrew, people are going to be, okay, wait a minute. You got one person over here who's a kitty diddler. You have the other one who's thinks she's, again, downward dog for dollars. Duchess.
Downward dog for dollars.
Yeah.
Well, you know what happened with Justin Trudeau? You know that picture of Harry and that traitor spy China woman?
Yeah.
Justin Trudeau is now being sued for watching kitty corn.
Yes, Trudeau is.
Oh hell yes! And actually, this guy came in and said that he really regrets, because the police had that. The police caught him watching kitty corn, and they didn't do anything about it.
What? That is crazy.
Oh, damn.
It is.
I sent it to you, Ron, because I was shocked.
Dude, like.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
Whoa.
You didn't know that?
Well, shit.
No, what in the world is happening? This is
Was this today?
Yep.
Yep. Well, this was yesterday, 9th of April.
Yep.
Well, Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why he left the post, because then his wife is divorcing him and everything. You didn't know that, Pat?
Well, here's the thing. Right? Trust me. When it comes to the panel members here, right? I've got some experience in this field, okay? And when it comes to things like this, okay, we need to delve into the facts, because the first thing people do when they want to destroy somebody is they'll hit you with R-word accusations or this kind of accusation. And whether it was, they'll do a headline in a couple of weeks where they're like, well, actually, it was consensual adult content. It was confusing.
This is kidding.
No. I understand, Paula. I've not read the article. I'm not denying the claims. I'm just saying it's very interesting when things like this come out of nowhere. It's always worth taking the time to just delve into it.
Yeah, I agree, because it's the same way that they use the Epstien files to smear everyone who's like, well, you were in the same restaurant with him.
Yeah, no.
No,
I
it's-
agree. I agree.
not-
But
it's not even that.
The guy suing him is very respectable. And
Yeah,
he
yeah. Oh, no, I'm not
actually
denying
read
anything.
into it.
I'm not denying any of it. It's just, it's interesting when people have, because usually people in power can keep this stuff under wraps,
Yeah,
right?
cool.
And when it comes public like this, I often wonder
Yep.
who's
Except
pulled
he's
the
not
trigger on
empowered.
that. That was the angle. It wasn't the case of, we got to assume all these people are innocent. It was why now though? Why
He's not empowered, because he's no longer empowered. Remember,
Right.
he's been
It's
neutered.
suspicious how he left, because he was highly popular when suddenly he quit.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think his policies were popular. I don't know about him personally.
You'd be surprised. Like the other day, I went to eat dinner at this place with Doug Ford, who is the brother of the governor or whoever was here. He actually had dinner with Harry there, and he's an idiot. He's an idiot. His brother's policies are absolutely moronic. There's so many homeless in Toronto, it's not even funny. But they're still there. And it's hard for these people to give up power. You know that once they're up, they don't want to let go. But I mean, it's just an interesting piece of news that I thought I'd give you guys.
It's
because
very
out there.
interesting piece of news, Paula. Very interesting piece of
You're
news.
welcome.
I'm waiting for more connections between. I don't know. I find the way that Harry behaves to be so similar to his uncle. I'm waiting for more to come. out.
Well, you know what happened in 2011, George? You know what happened in 2011 in Vernier when Harry went skiing? That incident with that teen, the newspapers tried to cover up and say that she was in her 20s, early 20s. And then they had to backtrack and said, well, she was in her teens, but we believe it's around late teens, right? She is, and then Harry and his brother, little Inskip, phoned the palace because the girl ended up in the hospital. There was a shot glass involved. Harry was making lewd things. And then it turns out she wasn't really in the older side of the teens. But Harry was there. Well, she looked older. And I mean, and there's a picture, I have it. I mean, where Harry's face is all blurred and stuff like that. The girl's face is blurred, but you see Harry grabbing her from behind. And it was a huge scandal. And it's the only person who has been made to sign an NDA after hanging out with Harry.
That's why I say so many people always ask, what's going to happen with Harry and Meghan? What are people going to do about Harry and Meghan? I'm like, when your enemy's digging a hole, just stand back. They do this to themselves.
Right.
No, nobody has done this to them. Just Harry and Meghan being hapless Harry and hopeless Harpy. I mean, it's just they're doing it to themselves.
Letitia, what's your thoughts? Yeah, well done.
My thought, and then I'm going to let you lovely people go. Ron, I really do think that Meghan and Harry wants to try to fix themselves, but they're unfixable. So they try to keep getting these PR people, PR teams, PR situations, and there's nothing left. The opportunities that she had to make herself better, like go visit her father in the hospital when he was over there in the Philippines.
She's gonna make herself better, Letitia. I know you are our in-house glasses half full person, right? But listen, we're talking about. We've not even seen the kids yet, man. Like there's too much. There's too much that she has control over to then suddenly be like, let's try and fix our image. She doesn't think she's got a problem.
Question: what is going to happen? Like, I see the downfall. You see it going, but what do you think they're going to try to do to fix it? Because Meghan is determined.
Nothing.
It doesn't matter how determined she is, but I agree with what you're saying, but she's had too many opportunities between her father, between her family, between her sister. Every opportunity has been handed to her. When Samantha was having problems and she was pointing things out, all she had to do was walk up and show her. When you had African Parks was having an issue, all Harry had to do was grab a bunch of reporters, come with me, let's get on the jet, let's go solve this. That's not how these people behave. And when I'm talking about people, it's a lot of Hollywood is that way, and a lot of people in power. They believe that they're untouchable. I don't believe there's any way when they're looking at the hard numbers of reality that they don't realize the damage that they've done to themselves. They might think they can dig out of it, but it's not.
Do you not think we're giving them too much credit here? Because you're taking
credit, it's survival.
No, but you're taking it from a point of view where they realize these things are opportunities. I don't think they've realized
because a brand, because someone in PR who was managing them, and even though we know they've been through like 28 people, would have told them this. Someone with half a brain, they had WME, remember, top firm in the world, would have told them this right here, right now. Go get on a flight, get on a plane. Probably 50 times. Go to Africa.
But they're not going to listen, right? They're not going to listen.
No. Correct.
Because they don't. They can't see what is right in front of them.
They think they know what's best.
Right, but even malignant narcissists, I don't care who you are. Your inside voice, know.
They don't have an inside voice, George.
But I still believe Come on. If you had success, that's a buffer to reality. They've had no success except for Harry and Meghan. When that buffer is gone, all you have then are delusions, meaning when you go out to a party, someone waves at you, shakes your hand. Where are all the pictures of her again? Remember Gwyneth Paltrow in the beginning when they moved to Montecito?
Yeah.
Then it was Oprah, then it was Gayle, then it was Kardashian. All of that's disappeared. When those buffers are removed from reality, your brain, I don't care how stupid you are, it may not know the solution, but it goes, this is not working.
What do you make of the Black community, Patricia? What do you make of the Black community? Are they still supporting her from what you hear in your neck of the woods?
I think so. Yeah, I think they are still supporting her. Isn't Harry going to be with some of the Sussex people in Invictus or and Meghan at the retreat? Who is it? The Zandy Sussex or whoever that is?
Yeah, that's a sugar.
Yeah, they're still definitely supporting her.
But your average person, like I'll say like my mom, she doesn't follow them. What if she liked them once upon a time? And she did. And now she doesn't because of me, of course.
But like, for example, and I did a video about this, about the children. They are bringing the children up to be ridiculed in the real world because those stupid videos that Meghan Markle is putting out with children, they're like the Transformers. These children change colors, even Megatron keeps, but these kids that pop up and like Archie suddenly is like 6 feet tall and then he's like 3 feet tall and then Lily is like taller than Archie, and this obsession and this fixation with being red hair, blue eyed, and it's such a ridicule thing that they're doing to the kids. And she's putting out in the internet something that Harry supposedly is fighting against, but they're putting all this ridiculous videos of these children. I hope they have a good psychiatrist because they're going to be bullied when they go to school.
Was there a picture? Was there a picture of I'm just having a weird spectrum moment here. Do you remember the picture of the wall that they said was New Zealand, and it turned out not to be New Zealand.
No, that wasn't New. Yes, yeah, that
Yeah,
is.
do you remember the wall?
That is
Yeah,
in
do you
St.
remember
Mark's.
Yeah, do you remember that wall? Was there
Yeah,
not a picture of Meghan with one of her kids? And I said to you, "Oh my God, look how low down that wall is."
Yeah,
Do you
that's in
remember?
St. Bart's that they tried to. Actually, she was 120 miles from Jeffrey Epstein Island.
That's what I'm saying. But so, is there not another picture with her kids there?
No, I haven't seen a picture like that, but you
I
know,
mean,
like
I'm sure there was. I'll need to go digging through because I remember seeing a picture of her with her kids near a very short wall, and us having a conversation about it. I'll try and dig it out. It just sort of pinged in my head there. But look, if anyone's got any more comments on Meghan and Harry, I've got our next topic that I want to bring and I want to put to you guys because it's a very serious one.
oh, you go.
Well, I'm going to play a little clip, right? And again, apologies if you're not into internet culture. I'm going to play an Asmund Gold clip. It's 3 minutes long, and it's got all of the clips we need for this next section. And this is covering our king, our king and his swaying of his faith. This is the man who's meant to be in charge of the Church of England.
Oh, yeah,
this is the man whose mother was the face of talking at Easter, talking at Christmas. It was almost a meme in this country where you would sit down at Christmas and you would turn on the telly and someone's playing the Queen's speech again, right? It was, this was before there was more than 5 TV channels.
I have something funny for you before you play that. I have something funny about that because this is a very short meme. Okay, let me show it to you.
Okay. We've got to be really, we've got to watch what we're doing, Paula, right? We've got to watch what we're doing.
He's in the UK. He doesn't want to be grabbed.
Yeah, I don't want to be grabbed, right? We're not necessarily going to be talking about the religion that is being endorsed. We're going to talk about the fact this man represents the Church of England and about how I'm well up for an inclusive king. Like if he wants to give Easter speech, Ramadan speech, listen. I'm okay if he wants to take on the workload. It just means he's but he's got to do it for everyone. Okay, but I'm going to play you guys. I'm going to play you guys some stuff.
Is that what defender of the faith actually meant, though?
No, I'm not saying
convert to another religion.
I'm not saying it's ideal, George. I'm not saying it's ideal or it's his job description. But I would much prefer that than what I fear is materializing in front of us. Now, I'm going to play this clip for you. It's an Asmund Gold clip. It's going to include all of the videos that we'll then go and look at. And I just want to get your guys' reaction to this.
Buckingham Palace confirms King Charles will not issue an Easter message this year. Oh my fucking God. He swore an oath. He's a traitor. Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. As Muslims across the United Kingdom begin preparation to celebrate Eid after fasting for the holy month of Ramadan, just wanted to convey my heartfelt best wishes and to tell you just how much my wife and I are thinking of you at this special time of year.
King Charles announces he won't do an Easter message. Before in 1993, he stated Islam is a part of our past and present. It created modern Europe. Islam teaches us all that Christianity is lost.
It didn't create modern Europe.
Oh, it gets so much better, George. It gets so much better. Wait until you hear the words coming out of Charles's mouth. Just
teaches us all the lessons Christianity is
one
lost.
thing when it's
what the hell is this? I haven't seen this.
Islam is part of our past and our present. It has helped to create modern Europe. It is part of our own inheritance.
It's AI? Wait, is that... No, actually, I don't know. Is this AI or not? Found the original? King Charles III on Islam in the West, 1993 lecture.
Medieval Islam was a religion of remarkable tolerance for its time, which was not, unfortunately, copied from many centuries.
Remarkable tolerance, George. Remarkable tolerance
has been a part of Europe for so long, first in Spain, then in the Balkans. It has contributed so much towards the civilization, which we all too often think of wrongly as entirely Western. Islam is
There's a reason why Queen Elizabeth worked till her dying day. She did not want this schmuck on the throne. It's just that she had to get the. Unfortunately, they needed to go to Parliament to change the Articles of Succession. But he should never have been on this throne. I had hope for him at one moment, but as the years, I did because I didn't start digging into it more until he was actually on the throne. And no, this is not how you represent. It's different being accepting. Like, I'll give you an example.
Right?
In
Yes,
Greece,
yes, I agree.
Greece is a Greek Orthodox nation. It states it clearly. And they go, anybody's allowed, but we are a Greek Orthodox nation. Simple. Does that mean you don't accept others? No, accept people. But you're not going to change the foundation of the country. England is what nation?
It's a Christian nation.
A Christian nation means you're welcome, but this is the bedrock it was built on. Anyone going against that is a traitor to the country, to the 1,000 years of history. Because I remember a few things called, what were they called, the Crusades?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
George, just buckle up, brother, because if you don't know what's going on over here, I don't know how dialed in you are, but we've got the king, whose mother clearly, like you say, worked to her dying day because of this fact, in bed with a man named Stalmer, who by very definition is a fuck. We're going to learn a little bit about that, but let's continue watching.
And our present.
It's not AI.
It has helped to create modern Europe. Islam can teach us today a way of understanding and living in the world which Christianity itself is the poorer for having lost. Our judgment of Islam has been grossly distorted by taking the extremes to be the norm. It's like judging the quality of life.
Say that again. It's great. Oh, we're good.
In Britain, by the existence of murder and rape, child abuse, and drug addiction.
How is it that they think that this isn't a big problem, but the people in the Muslim countries think it is? The United Arab Emirates announced that it will cut funds for citizens who want to study in the UK out of fear of Emirati students being radicalized by the Muslim Brotherhood Islamists on British campuses. An Arab state now views a European state as a Islamic dangerous radicalization hotspot.
And not the views of this channel, just the factual views.
I love this one. This part I love. This part I love. Please play
this is. We're just playing the views of what are seen as the progressive Muslim states, right?
Man, you're really afraid the Bobbies are going to show up and put you in Megan's movie.
Listen. No, it's not that. I'm not worried about me. It's a channel thing. It's
I know. I'm playing with you.
Channel thing. It's a channel thing. Oh, bro, listen. You want to come on my channel? You want to come on my channel, George? And we'll say something.
Will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists and terrorists coming out of Europe because of the lack of decision making, trying to be politically correct, or assuming that they know the Middle East and they know Islam and they know the others far better than we do. I'm sorry, but that's pure ignorance.
How is we can all agree that
you know what's the great part of it, Ron? That this gentleman, the translator, offered to, oh no, you don't have to say it in English, I'll translate. And the guy goes, no, I speak English. I want to say it in English because I want to avoid misunderstandings about what I'm about to say. I mean, smack down.
Yeah, the United Arab Emirates has worked hard to remove all of, by what I understand, all of the radicalization out of the country. I mean, they're saying that half the people they got rid of ended up in the UK and in France and in Germany.
Yeah, it's insane. We've only got a little bit left.
The only people that are saying this isn't a big concern, a bunch of
tenets of his new sovereignty.
A bunch of
Can
what?
I be the
just put this back.
One of the tenets of his new.
This isn't a big concern. A bunch of fucking white people in Britain.
He made it one of the tenets of his new sovereignty. Can I be the monarch of all faiths?
Oh, geez.
No, you can't.
Oh,
this is what he said last year.
Ridiculous.
This is what he said last year when he did send us an Easter message. He said, on Maundy Thursday, Jesus knelt and washed the feet of many of those who would abandon him. The love he showed when he walked the earth reflected the Jewish ethic of caring for the stranger and those in need of deep human instinct, echoed in Islam. It just seems like this guy doesn't want to talk about
Easter.
Not to give us an Easter message on this of all years is a profound mistake.
I think it's pretty obvious.
This Holy Week, I'm proud to join
It's the way this cuts to Trump. I'm sorry.
with Christians across the country and around the world to celebrate
Trump's
the most
saying something.
glorious Happy Easter to all. May God bless you. May God bless the United
That's what
States.
you're supposed to do.
How is the king not doing better than Donald Trump? That's fucking.
So, right. Listen,
Remind that the king is the head of the Church of England.
England, yeah. Correct. What was it? Henry VIII fought for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he killed a bunch of his wives.
Yeah, killed a bunch of his. I mean, you're talking again 1,000 years of history being flushed down the toilet by one man. It always comes down to. That's why I've always believed in Plato's philosophy of that kings are the best form of government. But he said once in a while you're going to get a bad one because democracies, the masses.
Well, I'm going to show you, if you can show this a little bit. I have this video that I want to show you guys because this is Charles' actual coronation and he's taking the oath.
Tampon was right. He wanted to be a tampon.
You probably.
That is the oath that he took.
Yeah.
That is the oath of, and listen, this is very carefully. This is also in law. This is not, nilly-willy. This is actually in law. I think that his hands were burning, on the Bible.
You're supposed to be defender of the faith, not only head of the church, defender of the faith.
Yeah. So, listen.
But that's why I said he wanted to be a tampon. It's what he's ended up on.
What do you think, Medina? What do you think?
One second, Paul, right? I just want to put this to everybody, right? Because what's going on in the UK right now, we're seeing quite a deconstruction of what we would call regular culture. Okay, we're seeing a lot of resources go to places that people aren't really happy with. We've got a political divide like we've never seen. We've got activism like we've never seen. And now we have all of our fears that we seem to have being bolstered by the head of the royal family. And for me, when it gets to that level, when we've got this blatant disregard, it started in the schools, right? It's little girls being sent home because they're wearing a Union Jack dress, on the day where they're trying to represent their culture. We've seen all kinds of madness where kids are told that they can't celebrate Easter. We've lost the term Christmas. It's happy holidays. It's seasons green. It's all this kind of madness, right? And for me, I said to my viewers a long time ago, where's the line for you? Is the line where 10 years from now, you're starting to notice more and more 13-year-olds getting married, right? Is it going to be when you have an ideology that has been put in place of law and what we've fought for are our freedoms? Are we going to watch women's rights take a back seat, where if a woman is horribly hard, unless she's got 4 male witnesses, she's going to have to marry the person who did that to her. Otherwise, she's going to go to jail. Okay? These are all parts of the extremism that we're talking about here. And I, for one, want better for my daughters. Okay?
Of course you do.
And we're getting to a very serious point, okay, in this show, because I have watched over the last 2 years my whole environment around here change. And it's a mental attitude thing. People they're lost because they don't have anyone to turn to anymore. Okay.
It's because you need leaders. You need leaders because people in the end, same thing I say in America. When you complain that your government is not doing something, it's not the government's fault. It's the citizens' fault. You get the government you deserve. It's the same way. It's the same way in the UK. If you see something wrong, you have to stand up for it. You have to step up. You have to get people around it. Look at Ireland. You saw the prime minister. The new prime minister.
Look at history, bro. Look at history. We are if we're a library of the whole of history of humanity, we're the last chapter of it. We are the wet wipe, pussy version of humanity.
But you don't know how that bothers me. You're talking about the land of the Magna Carta.
Bro,
I was talking about
bothers me. It bothers me.
And I'm not British, and I love the UK, and I'm like, why is this going on? And you know what's interesting? It could all go away in less than a week if the people just stood up. Not violence. You don't require it. You just say, no, we're not going to go to work for a week. We're shutting everything down.
You know what, George, that's what I said. Remember, Ron and I, we had this conversation 2 years ago. I think there was some sort of demonstration. I said, all the United Kingdom needs to do is everybody not go to work. And I mean the entire nation. Because if you want to hurt them, you hurt them where it hurts the most, their pockets.
You shut it down. And I think that's exactly what Trump is doing. If a lot of people may or may not like him, but when you look at the Iran war, they're looking at it in a myopic way where they think, oh, this is just about Iran, or this is, and I'm like, you really haven't been paying attention. When you look at Venezuela and Iran together, you have almost 70% of China's oil, plus the majority of Europe's oil. What has Trump been doing behind the scenes? What is he saying? Knock this shit off, this leftism, because daddy is now going to control the oil.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, I fully hear you, bro. But the problem that I've got, right, is this has had to be dialed so far back for me, George, right? Like we all like to see the bigger picture, right? I'm starting with my women, my children, right, my people, my country, because there is so much distraction going on. And currently we have every possible person that will take a contract is taking contracts to house individuals who are on tourists from France, shall we say.
Yeah.
And it's I'm not seeing many women and kids. I'm not seeing many.
Of course not, because
military age men.
Right. But you know who says it the best?
But you know, I just sent Lauren the Insider this thing I saw next. This immigrant literally on the subway pulled his pants down. This black guy pulling his pants down. It's in the middle of the day, and he's an immigrant. He's there, and he's like showing himself, right? So these bunch of guys come up and say, "You can't do this," and this man just starts to spew the worst, things you can imagine. They had to go and subdue him because he started. He had everything down, and there's little girls. I think it was a Sunday. So these are women in the subway because, of course, they're only big men with women, right? So he got 4 or 5 dudes had to come and wrestle him. Unfortunately, there were white dudes because nobody else wanted to come. So they managed to wrestle him down and they kicked him out of the train. But then the police came and they wanted to charge the white dudes for taking this guy who was doing those indecent things inside the train. But then finally the people came out.
That's that white privilege everyone talks about right there. Just want to point out that is some of the white privilege right there.
This is what Carl said, that the United Kingdom's strength was what? What was it? That diversity. No, it's not. No, it's not.
There's massive strength in diversity when the people here are integrating and not assimilating.
Yeah, that's called assimilation.
It's the Borg, George.
It is called assimilation. Is nothing wrong. My grandparents came to America because they wanted to be American after World War II. They had homes in Greece. They gave it all up. But you know what they did? They wanted to be American. They learned the language. Yeah. They were Yankee Doodle, July 4th. They loved America to such a degree, and they instilled that in all of us. They said, look, our forefathers came from Greece. This is our mother. That's our father back there. And
let me ask you this, George.
And
we're talking about legal migration, right?
Yeah, well, if you call
because just so everyone fully understands, we are in no way are we talking about legal migration. Paula's not talking about legal migration. I'm not talking about legal migration. We are talking about a strange phenomenon that has taken place in the UK, where a whole bunch of people have come here on holiday from France.
It's called a replacement.
And just stayed, okay? And the problem is, there's a lot of military age dudes and a lot of crimes that are being committed by these individuals. Now, people are actually arguing, oh, well, these crimes would happen anyway.
No, see, I hate that argument. Do you mind if I inject here?
Please do, George.
Because we have this same conversation in America with leftists. They'll say, like, why do you constantly complain about illegal crime? They look at the FBI stats. It was only 1,000 in 1 year. I'm like, okay, it's real simple. America, like every other country, has crime. We have higher crime, give them a proportion. All right, cool. One daughter, one son, great. Murdered is one too many. If you could stop one, you seal the damn border. Why? Because that's one life that you could have prevented. You can't prevent most crimes, but you could prevent these. It's the same way in the UK.
You know, George, just tell that to the parent whose child was murdered or killed, and go talk and tell him that. But the thing is that you feel unprotected because of, for example, with Charles, how can you, when the head of the country, the head of the nation had just dinner with the president of Nigeria, and was doing all this Eid talk. I don't even know what the hell that is. Yeah. And then, while the Nigerian president is sitting with the slaughter of Christians in Nigeria, just in the recent news that
You don't even have to go that far. We're talking about a country that's just had a massive investigation into a vrooming, it rhymes with vrooming, begins with a G, scandal, where some of the parents of these children, George, imagine this concept, right? Your daughter comes in, she's told you she's been horrifically abused by 5 guys that are in the area. And you're told by the police that if you keep reporting this, they're going to come and arrest you.
Well, I can't say what I would do on there.
No, but actually just process that for a second.
Yeah, no, I understand. But believe me. Okay, I'll put it to you
like
this way.
Latina that I am, they're not coming.
It's crazy, right?
You know I was kidnapped. I've shared that story with Sean. I've shared it with Paul. Okay, so I was kidnapped by my dad when I was 7, and he had me in a basement and tortured me for a year. He was pissed at my mother for divorcing because he was an abuser. Cool. Yeah. They rescue me. Years later, he comes to America. My mother had remarried. She had my baby sister taking care of her. The guy flips out and he starts harassing my mother and my sister. You're talking a 2-year-old now, right? Okay. Making phone calls to uncles, to family. How dare you stay with him? He took the whole kidnapping as he sacrificed. This was his term. I sacrificed going to jail to bring you to Greece, to take you away from your family. Beat me to death every day, but he goes, that's love. Okay, so he comes back years later, threatens my mother and my sister. We call the police. Police come, take a report. We'll go talk to him. He says it wasn't him. He didn't drive by the house. He didn't wave a gun. 10 times police report, nothing happens. So I'm like, okay, this is not how I was raised. Nothing's going to happen to my mother and my sister. So I go over to his house. I kick the door in, and I'm like, we're going to have a conversation now. And I will just say we'll leave it at that. 24 hours later, he was packed up to Greece with a ticket, never to return. Because sometimes you have to deal with things yourself.
Yeah.
And it's to protect your family.
Yeah, like for example, Patricia went to Germany. She learned the language. She didn't go to Germany to impose her culture or anything. Patricia's fluent in German. She went to China. She was in China. She immersed herself in the culture. But the problem, that I've lived because of my work. I've lived in so many countries, and people would always tell me, did you, how was the Canadian community or the Latino communities? I have no idea, because I was hanging out with the locals trying to learn their language. Pat, I was just talking about you, saying that when you lived in China, you immersed yourself in the culture. And when you went to Germany, you learned the language, which is a big difference than you trying to go to Germany to impose your culture, your language, your traditions. You were respectful of that. You were in their country. If you're in my home, you do what this is basic mom rule. George, when you're at your mom's house.
Of course.
What do you do?
Mom's rules. You follow them. Of course you do. It's like when you go to, it's the difference between you go to her home. It's her rules. You're going to show your courtesy. You're going to be respectful. It's not going to be, hey, I'm going to stay over for the weekend. And by the way, I'm going to burn half the house down, throw my shit. No. But that's my point. I was trying to make it not to sound egotistical or blow myself up. I did what I did to protect my family. But in the UK and in America, people have to do that. They have to stand up for them, and they're not. True. That drives me crazy. And you go, damn the consequence. What was the consequence? Mm-hmm. He was going to hurt my mother and sister because he had called the night before saying, you know what? You've hurt me as a son by taking your mother's side, again, forgetting the kidnapping. And I'm going to teach you what that pain is like by taking away your mother and your sister. And I was like, okay, face jail, save family. That's not a choice. Save family. I didn't care. You have to have that back. We don't have that anymore.
Yeah. I think it's weird. I've thought about this, George, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the scale of the power in which the person that you're facing has and the consequence you face for your action, right? There's this weird crossover, right? Because, for example, let's put you in the same position where your father was Trump.
Right.
Do you see what I mean?
That wouldn't see. That's, you know what? No, I get what you're saying. You're talking about the power, the institution.
Power, yeah. That's the point.
The French Revolution.
Yeah.
King. Peasants,
army,
sticks. Who
I'm with you, George. I agree with you, bro.
Numbers. All you have.
I agree.
You have one person who has grit, That
I
attracts
agree.
another.
And
which
we've
attracts
seen
another.
the turnout for Tommy Robinson, right? When he done his march. It was so peaceful, George. Like I was covering it live. There was people there that were doing all the angles and the camera reporting and stuff. And there wasn't any litter, George. Like for the there was a grandmothers and their little kids, and there was people of all races and all religions, and they were just
I could get a hold of him. I love Tommy Robinson, but what he had
I'll
to
help
do
you with that. I'll help you with that,
But
George.
I'll tell you what would have been great. The next move, you have those 3 million go. We're not moving to you for a week until you get another million and another million. And you bring everything to a standstill peacefully, calmly, quietly, until it changes. That's it. Gandhi did it to the UK. He did it to the British Empire without raising a finger.
So did Mandela. Mandela didn't have anything like that. He was peaceful. Patricia, I wanted to ask you, when you were in Germany as an immigrant there, how was the culture? Did they say, oh, were you allowed to express yourself as an American, or did you feel, how was it like that? Or was it like
I
in the
didn't
UK?
dare express myself. I was like trying to assimilate to the ways of the German people. I was so out of place there. I didn't want to stand out and try to make waves in a country I didn't at the time know their language. And but as I acclimated to the language and to the culture, you know, I think even then I wanted to still maintain peace because it wasn't, you know, I was on foreign soil. So you just have to be respectful. And that's why when Meghan started doing everything that she was doing, I just could not believe it. It's like, you are in the home of the royals,
right?
In the UK, you don't behave like this. And it just made us as Americans look so bad, I think, because it's always that assumption about the ugly American. You know, you go to a foreign country, you're loud, you're obnoxious, you don't understand their culture, and you don't care to understand it. And you know, it's just embarrassing, you know, because she's just not cultured, and she's representing America. And women of color to that respect, I guess, because she claims it, right? So Meghan is just a poor example. And there are little girls that are looking up to her, which is so bad.
It is. No, I think you nailed it, Pidana. Have you read Bauer's book? I was stunned.
Have you?
By the treatment.
By
what she wanted to be treated like God.
Yeah.
Angry that she thought that Harry and her weren't going to be king and queen.
Yeah.
Again, talk about the ugly American. I mean, she gave us a very bad look. Very bad.
Yeah.
But it's not, the thing is though, that at this point in time, and I always say this, at this point in time, I do not blame Andrew. I do not Fergie. Today I did an interview with Matthew Steeples about Fergie and Andrew, right? And I don't blame Andrew. I don't blame Fergie, just like I don't blame Harry nor Meghan at this point in time, because they are being enabled. Right now, Australia has to pay for security out of the taxpayers, and the king is sending 2 of his most trusted senior advisors to follow Harry and Meghan in that fake royal tour. Andrew was enabled to do this. Fergie is hiding in Sandringham in the king's state.
I just can't, like,
you know, so how can you fight when you have the figurehead? And we go back to all of what's wrong in England, because our queen, actually that little bit that I showed you at the beginning is funny, because he said that the queen would have much rather dissolve the monarchy herself rather than to wear a head thing, or, you know, like that's how much of a staunch she was. Because I feel that the United Kingdom, the large part of the United Kingdom, the original people from the United Kingdom, they feel they have nobody to really represent them, and that their monarch is not speaking or looking out for them. So if the head of the snake is not looking out for the entire body, you can understand how things are. Because Charles should be saying, you know what? I'm going to host for the first time in history an Easter service in Buckingham Palace, and have children find the Easter bunny egg, you know, and have a church give a speech, speak out for Christians, not refer to Christians in the as a third party, you know, to the Christians celebrating Easter. What the hell are you talking about to the Christians? Aren't you Christian? You know what I mean? So how can you blame Meghan and Harry and everybody else when the church, the head of the church, please understand, this is ingrained in law. The head of the Church of England is basically issuing praise. He had the people break the fast at Windsor Castle and do the pray.
Yep, they did, yeah. And you know, when I was talking about a lost nation before, when you've got your own culture falling apart, we've had the last 10 years of social media completely separate us all from a community point of view. We're all alone. Now you've got people who may be lost and looking for religion, the religion that perhaps their country is founded in, being frowned upon. And now we have the poster child for the Church of England doing what appears to be a slight turn away from that. Where did that, I mean, people's community's gone, their culture's been eradicated, and now what they've seen as their possible faith is now being seen as something that people would shy away from. We're going to see a lot of people that follow in suit with the king, I think.
Yeah, because this summer the government is following the king's lead. Because before they wouldn't dare do the things that Charles is doing now. They would never pull with the Queen. The Queen would just like, what the hell are you talking about? The Queen would have said, like, not in my house. And this is really funny because in this skit that it goes, she was the queen with capital Q, she's not, he's not the king with little K, it's like, this is at her 90 years old, she inspired so much respect from everybody without raising her voice. Charles doesn't do that because people feel that he's not looking out for his people.
I'll tell you what as well, when there's a word that's being created around a lot of what's going on in the UK as well, someone just mentioned it's Islamophobia, right? This is what people are being called racist, they're being called this, that, and the next thing. I tell you what I'll do, I'll quite happily put on display the reasons why I think that a very, 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 very barbaric mindset should not govern a country. And I'll do that over on my channel. I'll dedicate the first half an hour of my live stream that I'm doing tonight to telling you exactly why I've got a problem with this. Then we're going to be looking into the wonderful content I found on YouTube, where through manipulating AI guidelines, you can produce a 4'6" adult with a very teenage looking face and a young girl's body, and have them do AI created content of things like, hey guys, on the school bus, want to know why my teacher keeps looking at me? And then it cuts to the aftermath of her being abused in a tent. And this content is now rampant on YouTube, and I'm going to be exposing it tonight. If you want to come and join me in the nightmare fuel that is this, you can see it this evening. And we're going to be starting with an account that has taken effectively Margot Robbie's face, turned Margot Robbie into a 12 or 13-year-old girl who likes to promote the fact that she's 21. She's 4'6" and only wants to go out with 50-year-old men. And all of her skits involve her being in high school. We're going to delve into it. It's going to all ruin your weekend. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. That's up on my channel this evening. The link's not up yet. It will be up after this show.
Patricia, I just want to ask you something before. As an American, as a Black American, okay, how do you see things going on in the UK? And you're a woman of faith. You're a woman of deep faith. How do you see things going on for Charles and in the UK? Do you think that he's contributing to the chaos in the United Kingdom because of his stance or the lack of stance?
I'll be right back.
I do see that, and I don't know. I think I'm concerned about the whole taking over of the country. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about how the UK is being taken over. I mean, by other cultures. Like, it's not. I know you have different cultures, but it seems like it's being swallowed up by the majority, because there's certain places in the UK you can't even, the police don't even go to. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, it's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. And to me, I don't know about you, George, but to me, I find that the UK does have an identity. It does have an identity, but it's like it's being corroded. It's like people are ashamed. In a way, I don't believe in reverse racism. I just think that right now, these minorities are exploiting a system and we have a weak leader who, rather than stand up for his people, he's, I want to be, welcoming, inclusive. I hate that word, inclusive. I hate it. What do you make of that, George?
I think it's part of the process of multiculturalism. That's the difference between assimilation into one nation instead of a breakdown into tribes. See, tribes war, they fight each other. Assimilation, everybody unites. The United States of America, everybody's from everywhere. But you have the Constitution, you have one country, and you're supposed to come together. Brothers and sisters, neighbors and friends. And you have that commonality when you introduce multiculturalism, not necessarily race, but you have people who are creating parallel societies. Well, that breaks down to tribalism. Instead of having one nation, you have a bunch of tribes, and tribes war.
Yeah, that's what's happening to the UK, I think.
Yeah, because but it's not supposed to be like that, because you see, in the United Kingdom, even though they don't have a constitution, but they do have rules. And, for me, the fact that they legalized Sharia law, I'm like, how is this part of the United Kingdom's, when you have a Christian country by law? This is not even like a supposed thing. It is by law. It is in law that the United Kingdom is a Christian country.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Jesus is your savior, kind of thing. And I just find that people are hopeless. I talked to Lauren, for example, or to Tina, and they're white ladies. They have children, they have daughters, and they're terrified. They're terrified, the lack of freedom of speech. Dina quit YouTube completely because she was afraid to voice any opinions for fear of being in prison.
Oh, yeah, that's right. People are getting arrested in the United Kingdom for their views on social media. That's crazy.
I heard they're supposed to be ratcheting that down. That's the last report that I read from the Met, that they were saying that we're no longer going to be targeting people's opinions or posts. I don't know if that's been implemented.
They've expanded to Canada instead. They knocked on the door of a grandmother here in Toronto, and because she posted something about Mark Carney, and they wanted to ask her if she had made that post. She's like 70 something. She goes, "You're coming here like 3 policemen, and you're wasting my time because I criticized the prime minister." And then she started swearing at them. Just get out of here. Go catch a thief.
I think we've got like close to 15,000 people serving prison sentences in the UK for social media posts now.
Wow.
We're racking up. Russia has put away, I think it was like 104 people in the last 200 years for free speech, like things. I have no idea. I mean, it's probably more than that, right? But all I know is the people that are in jail here, the granddads who are unaliving themselves because they've been taken to prison. They've been paying their taxes their whole life. They're trying to retire.
So was that all just window dressing then? The report that came out last week about how the Met were saying that they were going to stop arresting people for the social media posts? Because I saw a big
sure. I'm sure.
I want to know.
Yeah, because I seen the same thing. They were talking about this about 6 weeks ago, George, right? And they were like, the Met Office announces that they will no longer be acting on this, that, and the next thing. So I then went and phoned the police, and I was like, look, I said, so does that mean then we can say what we like again on social media? And they're like, no, nothing's changed.
Okay,
nothing's changed. Okay.
Well, that's why I like having these conversations, because
how weird, George, how weird is that though? Because to you and me, I've seen that.
Like
I was
the
like,
article.
Yeah, it was like this skinny looking Skeletor white haired dude from the Met Police being like, nah.
Yeah,
like
that's why you need people to stand up. You need a Churchillian figure. Like, I mean, look at what England.
I'm here for it, bro.
1940, little ships. He got all of England to bring their ships together to go save the soldiers in Dunkirk. I mean,
have you heard of
this is why people turn to the monarchy. This is why people turn to the Queen or the Queen Elizabeth II, because in the monarchy we had something to aspire to. It's like when the King George VI refused to leave when they were bombarding London, and he says, we're staying here. When you see them go with people through famine, through everything, and you see the Queen giving her speeches, we shall meet again, like the Queen knighting Captain Moore, that that elderly veteran, who started walking during COVID. And hence, those are the values that we want to see in our monarchy.
Well,
that I cry my ass out watching the Queen Knight Captain Moore. I was like, oh.
But that's why Meghan and Harry are dangerous. The monarchy is supposed to be bigger than life,
Right?
aspirational, and Meghan and Harry bring it down into the gutter.
Yeah,
and that's why you have more people, which I'm against, who are like, what's the point of it? What's it serve? Because they're taking that shine, that luster away. You throw in Andrew and Fergie and then Eugenie and Beatrice. It has to. That's why there was such a control on the image. People would turn around. Wasn't that fake? No, it is supposed to give you something, not a replacement for faith, but a symbol of a nation where you go, that's my king, that's my queen. These are our leaders.
Yeah, right.
But that's gone
in so many ways. I think, he's just all around failed in a lot of things that he is.
Of course,
just weak in general. I find.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and we've got this new guy, Rupert Lowe, which is on the screen just now.
Yeah,
he's running for a new political campaign, and honestly, George, the way his whole the only thing that he's talking about is making everybody that's from the French extended stay exchange go back to their country of origin, because the people in this country, I believe, really just want somebody to put their system first.
Yeah, you mean British first?
Yeah, well, not even like the people that are here legally.
Yeah, you mean yes,
the people that are here legally, right? The people that are born here or come here legally. Because there's people that I would imagine that are legally British that would consider themselves, I'm still a proud Frenchman, but I live here. That's cool, right? All of that's great. It's just, it should be about those people. It should be about the people who are born here and the people who come here legally. And after them, it should be the elderly, the children, the freaking veterans, okay? And then once we've got our whole country as this beautiful example of education, healthcare, like all of that, then you start helping the rest of the world, right? I mean, it just, for me,
charity starts at home, basically.
No, Paula, there's still places in America that don't have sidewalks and people burn their trash.
Patricia, it's a charity. Charity. Patricia, tell about what the hassles that you encounter with the charity in the United States with the kids from very unfortunate backgrounds that they don't have. Patricia was crying because she took this girl. You tell this story, or you're gonna start crying. Let me know if you're gonna start crying. Because she took this girl from her charity. And she asked her if she wanted to say, I can buy you anything. And then she asked you for toothpaste or something like that.
Yeah, toothbrush and toothpaste. Yeah.
This is in the United States of America, guys.
Yeah.
It's that would have been an expensive day, P. Dinah. I'm telling you that right now. As soon as you heard that, you're like, oh, shit.
Of course she got what she
wanted. The budget is done. The budget is over with. I am ruined. I will never financially recover from this day.
No, but this is the thing. Like Patricia's a living example of things that are absolutely wrong right now. How you have to sort out your home, before you are able to look at other people's. It's like put your oxygen mask on first when there's an emergency, because then you'll be able to help others. But it sounds selfish. But if you're home, if your children are going hungry, Patricia, you're gonna start giving food to other people when your own kids are hungry.
Exactly. It's common sense. I just think isn't there, Ron, you would probably know more about this. Isn't there like this control over the government, like those that are in power are really not in power? Isn't that what they say?
Listen, if we all think that the people who are representing of our nations are the ones that are pulling the strings, then I wish I had your level of ignorance, and I wish I could rent that for a weekend. That's just because that sounds great. That sounds great that Trump and Netanyahu and all these people are just lunatics, right? And if we take them out and put a normal dude in, everything will be cool, right? Well, sadly, I don't believe that. And do you know what's really weird, P. Dinah? I had this solidified when I done a live stream about a statue, okay? A 16th century statue, I think it was in Switzerland or Sweden, that was of what looked like an ogre or an elite, okay, sitting on top of this big obelisk with a sack full of babies that he was eating, right? And it was a weird one. So I started investigating it. And it was odd because around about the time the statue was erected, was round about when the people started to revolt and they wanted to be able to make choices. They wanted to have a say. Because at that time, it was just the elites that made all the decisions in this country. For the police, for the banking, for everything. They were in control of it all. So you ask yourself, P. Dino, if you were these elites, would you give over your control or would you just create an illusion of choice for the people?
Yeah,
and that was when I realized, obviously, none of the elites are going to go, actually, see all this power and money. Let's just leave that.
Yeah.
No. And it was solidified then. And whatever the next big illusion will be, okay, where we beg for the next thing, because that's how we want our democracy to be, will be the next shadowy puppet pulling of the strings. And it sucks. It really sucks because it's going to take an asteroid materializing a mile off of Earth. No one's noticed this shit's coming. The elites can't get to their bunkers. No one's got any time to do nothing. And we're knocked back to the Stone Age with about 10% of the population. And if we're lucky, that 10% aren't absolute dicks, okay? Like we've got a good 10% left. Maybe then. But we're too far gone. We're too far gone, in my opinion. It's going to take exactly what George said. Exactly what George said.
I don't believe it.
Every single one of us stood up and went, we're taking all this back, we would win within hours. Literally within 1% versus 99%. Go and get 100 M&Ms and just move one to the side, okay? Those are the odds, okay? It's a pretty good odds, George. I mean, those are good betting odds. I'll tell you that right now.
It is. That's why I do not believe. That's why I don't believe this is not solvable. I mean, again, whether you like him or not, Trump proved that. You need to vote for someone, whether you like the way he's gruff or the way he's rough. But the man puts, in my opinion, he puts his country first. And he starts that repeatedly.
But, you know, at the end of the day, we're talking about politicians. And, for example, when we talk about monarchy, we're talking about people who are not elected and who should be neutral. It should be representing the core values of the nation, of the country, not the immigrants, but his people. You know what I mean? And the other day I was watching this, the gang are, you know, like...
Not illegal immigrants anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this gang people, and what they did to these girls were horrible, you know. And then you have in Parliament, they're making legal these laws that are corroding away the culture, that like over 1,000-year culture of the United Kingdom. I know that even stupid things like the Queen being awakened every day with the bagpipes, but that is part of the culture. It's part of the culture.
You've got to understand, we are dealing with a government who is accepting reasons for having to stay in the UK, as I can't get my kids the chicken nuggets they like back in my own country. And the government's going, asylum.
But you know, like, for example, Lauren the Insider did this story about the king serving halal meat at the orangery at Buckingham Palace without labeling it. And people don't even ask because they assume that they're eating British beef, raised, you know, killed under British customs. And it wasn't until she went there and she got it on an email. She also said, well, if you don't like halal, we can serve you something else. And then she goes, well, how would I have known that it was halal if I hadn't asked? Because they're not labeling here. Here you go in Canada, you go to the market and it says halal beef, non-halal beef, kosher, you have all kinds, but it's labeled. But Charles is not doing that, you know, and he's serving, so he's sneakily imposing a religion on somebody, or religious.
I agree.
On people.
I agree. To me, it's the same as not disclosing that there's animal products in a vegan dish or nuts in a nut allergy dish. Also, Kim, I don't know where your point has come from, but it's just great advice. So I'm just putting that up on the screen. Stop eating McDonald's. Stop eating McDonald's. I mean, listen, still though, we could all probably, you know, if it disappeared tomorrow, we'd get over it in about 5 minutes. Okay. We'd get over it in about 5 minutes.
I like the Big Mac, and I don't know. I mean, it's
I liked it growing up, not anymore.
It's
but
like Patricia, like Patricia in the morning. Sometimes when I was in Nicaragua, she used to go order her coffee. I know her coffee order by heart. You try to take the coffee order from this woman with like whipped cream, and it's like, and she's like, and I'm like,
that's the problem right there, right? Why the hell are we going into McDonald's and getting a coffee?
Yeah, what's in McDonald's? Where were you going? I think it was Starbucks or something like that.
Because in the UK, we've got another thing where like we had this weird trend where every supermarket needed to do everything. So you had, I'll now use American friendly language, right? So we had Walmart, they sold food, right? So then they had to sell electrical, then they had to sell, couches, then they had to do home insurance, then they had to have their own mobile phone company. Then you can take out loans from them. And it's like, why am I in a world where I can get why I shouldn't be able to get a £20,000 loan and a block of butter in the same building? Okay, something weird about buy butter and get a loan in the same building.
You're literally talking about Costco. Costco is so huge. The first time I saw Costco, I was like, you can buy a couch and you can buy butter.
Costco stays in its lane. Costco just goes, we sell Urahan really cheap, and I appreciate them, right? We get your shtick, Costco. But in Costco, they're not coming up to you and going, hey, you know how we're selling you that couch? Would you also like to buy your mum some house insurance? No. I don't need a better deal on my phone from Costco Mobile. I don't need that.
Are you talking about Tesco?
I'm talking about Tesco, George. I'm talking about Tesco. I'm talking about Morrison's. I'm talking about Asda. I'm talking about all of them.
When I was there, I saw Tesco. I was surprised.
Right? It's like, why am I?
Tesco in the UK, George?
Yeah.
A few years ago. Yeah, I was like, they have everything.
Marks and Spencer's, Marks and Spencer's.
See, Marks and Spencer's, I would trust them giving me a loan. Marks and Spencer's is fancy, right? You know what I'm saying?
How about Waitrose? I used to shop at Waitrose a lot.
I tell you what, I like Fordham. I think it was Fordham.
Fordham and Mason.
Fordham and Mason. I love that.
That's a bag. You know that King Charles, then Prince Charles got almost over £1 million in a Fordham and Mason bag. Give it to him in cash.
No, I don't think I own any clothes that meet the standards that you have to be dressed to go into a Forbes and Mason, to be perfectly honest with you. But they sell some fanciness. Oh,
yeah, it's very expensive. Fordham and Mason is the Queen's thing when they go every year. And they get these baskets given with Fordham and Mason. I think they even have a warrant by the Queen, by the royal.
Do you know how up my own backside I would be if I owned a shop that the Queen shopped in every single year? Like that would be my entire identity would become that, and I would milk the living hell out of it. Hell yeah, I would. Well, look, listen, we're touching on the 2-hour mark, and I just want to say, George, you're looking fabulous today, sir. I just want to point out, it's been a long time.
I know. George has abandoned us, and I've been watching his channel closely.
Thank you, sir.
And I just want to say, I never knew that about your pastor.
Oh, I thought you did. Oh, because I've talked about it with Paula and Bedine before.
That's horrible.
Are you doing movie reviews still?
Yes, once in a while.
Can you do the Hail Mary project, the Project Hail Mary? I loved it. But can you do the review?
Oh, I'll look at it. I saw it. I just haven't had time yet because I've been trying to take the channel in a different direction, expand it. So it's been interesting.
It wouldn't be an evening with George and I talking without at least 2 minutes of me nerding out. So how are you kicking yourself that you didn't jump on that Pokemon train when I told you to?
Yes.
Yeah, do it, bro. Because now you're like, oh, I'm going to get some, and you're like, why is that $700 for a box of cards? Right? It's brutal, mate. It's brutal. So yeah, I just wanted to ask you that. But look, thank you, George. Thank you, P. Dinah. Thank you to all of you guys for being here. To Letitia, and we'll be back next week on a Friday, as usual. I'm going to be live I'll be live before 11 o'clock on my channel. The live will be up. We all know what I'm going to be covering. So if you want to hear my real views on what's going on in the UK and also what is going on YouTube, it will be live very, very soon. And I just want to say to Paula, who is, of course, the backbone of the show, thank you so much for everything you do. You are amazing. And I just don't say it enough. And P. Dinah, thank you for being here. And George, thank you for being here. You're all awesome. And I really appreciate it.
And thank you to Lizzie B. There was Honesty and Truth, I think, or someone that also helps moderate. You have a moderator, Lizzie B is moderating. Yeah, so they're amazing as well.
Yeah, Lizzie B right here.
Yep.
Yeah, well, listen, all the mod teams are absolutely spectacular, and they keep us all sane and keep our side chat nice and safe. So I will see you guys in a little while. Make sure you follow everybody that's on the panel, and thank you for being here.